Well, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good. How are you, sir?
Not bad at all. And how are you guys today? I'm going to fix that. Can you adjust? Do you see how we're a little sideways there? Everybody's going to be watching us like this today. If you don't mind just tipping that. My bad, guys, on that. So hopefully everybody's had a fantastic day. Had a fantastic week here so far. It might be the cable there. Yeah. Here, we'll get it here. Give me 1 second, guys. I do apologize.
There we go.
There, that's a little better. Maybe you're not breaking your neck now. We're good to go there. Hopefully, you guys have had a fantastic week. Brad Haldane, good morning. Jason Reese. I think he's out at the maintenance facilities right now. He does a little work on Sunday, so he tunes us in during work. So thank you there.
Good morning, Brooks.
And as always, good morning, Brooksy. So hopefully you guys, like I said before, have had a fantastic week here so far. We got a guest on the show today as I interviewed Elliot Cox.
I seen that
a little earlier this week. So that was fun. Check out that because we got we'll get to the go-kart section a little later, but a Driving for Dyslexia event here coming up.
That's coming up Saturday, right?
Absolutely. So we're excited for that. Elliot's going to tell you a little bit about what we got going on there. I say we. I'm just going to be driving in it. I'll be going live from there, the event and everything. So hopefully everybody tunes in there and see what we got going on out at the track. We got Ghost Country rocking in our ears. You don't have to worry.
Yeah, we got some country going on here.
No idea how, but
neither one of us listen to country.
No. So if you see us rocking out in the middle of the show, that's it. We got a good country tune in our ear here. So Elliot Cox is in the house there as well. So
if Chris Stapleton comes on, I might sing it to you.
Right, absolutely. Like I said, a little ghost country in the ear this morning. So we got an exciting week because no racing going on today.
No.
But we have
There was some that ended this morning, though.
Yes, absolutely. But plenty of action going on. Where should we start the fun? I mean, you throw a dart.
Just throw a dart, take a pick.
Let's start up with NASCAR. Okay. Bristol last night.
Let's go.
You think
I didn't watch any of it.
I saw a little bit. You think the best of the best, Kyle Busch, when it comes to Bristol, he's right behind Harvick there. Man, you just can't beat Kevin Harvick this year. Denny Hamlin is the only one that can take him down. And I was wondering if that momentum was really going to continue into the playoffs here.
And it has.
Oh, like none other. Jarrett Murphy was out there. He was at Bristol. Kyle was at Bristol.
Yeah, I seen Kyle was there.
These guys just having a load of fun. We got Tim Christensen in the house. What's going on, guys? We're going to have some fun today. I'm looking forward to it. But, yeah, NASCAR. Man, Kyle Busch, he was looking like a dirt tracker coming around that last turn, just trying to give everything he had to Harvick there, but just couldn't get it. And still, after a second place finish, you're moving on. Everything. He's still not happy. He still
he still hasn't had a win this season.
No,
and that's very unusual when you talk about a season of NASCAR that Kyle Busch has no wins.
Right, but I think you have to step back, and you're so much pressure. You want to do the back to back. You just have to step back, and you have to relax. You have to have fun. It looks like he's having zero, and I mean
he's used to winning.
Zero fun this year.
And I think it's more frustrating for him too, because you look at his teammate Denny Hamlin. And Denny Hamlin's got how many wins this year? And, he's running up front and he's contending for wins week in, week out. Right. And Kyle's riding the struggle bus. So that has to add to the frustration for Kyle Busch.
Absolutely there. So it'll be interesting to see. So I want to say, I hope I got these right, but Di Benedetto, Blaney, 24 car, not Bowman, but Byron. And I knew I was going to miss that fourth one. There was 4 cars that were booted out yesterday. Amarillo makes it into the next stage. So I said,
was it Boyer?
Somebody's going to help me out.
Hold on here. Let me get the app.
So we got 4 of these guys getting booted, but we move on to the next stage of the playoffs there. And man, it's getting exciting, because that's where I will say, at least with the dominance that we've seen with Hamlin and Harvick this year, the playoffs still mean a little more, these end of the season races here.
Okay, so according to this, 4 drivers got kicked. There was 12 in the chase?
16.
16? Okay, so it was Di Benedetto, Blaney, Byron, and Custer.
Custer, thank you. It was Cole Custer there. Yep, absolutely.
And it's sad to see Ryan Blaney not continue on. He
had a solid season this year.
But he's had those races where it's just been a debacle, and he's kind of where Chase Elliott was at a couple years ago. He's
right.
Looking for that consistency. He hasn't found that consistency. Once he does, I can see Blaney, winning a championship.
What he has found is a solid groove there with that team, and that's going to help him out going forward there. And I think that's what Chase needed a couple years ago, was just that solid groove, really, to get in there, feel comfortable with the team, and not be overwhelmed with the NASCAR overall. I mean, you're in the big league, so I think you really see this was kind of his. Maybe you call it a breakout year, but next year I think he comes back with a lot of flame and a lot of competitive desire there.
Well, and you would like to see that, but at this point it's kind of too soon to tell, because to me this year the Fords have been dominant. I think Ford's been the car to beat all season long, as much as I hate to say that. Chevy hasn't had that, and even in IndyCar. Going, not to change the subject, Chevy's been struggling in IndyCar too. So I think coming into 2021, Chevy has a lot of homework to do, and I think you're going to see the playing field even out a little bit next year.
That's a good possibility there. I think you have a good point. So and definitely the year after that, with the regulations, everything like that coming into NASCAR. So
right.
You look down the line then in the Xfinity side of things, and Briscoe takes a win there at Bristol. So that really helps his cause if anybody's looking in to really get him onto a solid team. If not, I think if he doesn't get that solid ride he wants, I think we see him sit back another year, and really work his way up. I don't think he will just want to hop in to the deep end here without being backed here with a solid team.
And you look at the Xfinity series, Briscoe and Cindric are definitely the class of the field. There's a couple other guys that are in there, but as far as week in, week out, you're pretty much talking about Briscoe and Cindric.
Gregson
throws in there.
Absolutely. But I'm with you there. Yeah,
what's the other kid, too? There's another kid. Damn it, I can't think of his name right now.
He was battling with got both of us are drawing blanks.
The
road course.
Burton.
Oh, okay, I'm with you.
Harrison Burton.
Yeah.
That's Jeff Burton's son.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I was thinking somebody else.
But still, I say that Cindric and Briscoe, though, those are the two to beat every week.
Right. And you see those names constantly. And Cindric, has he been?
He doesn't have a deal for Cup yet. He's still in Xfinity as of right now.
And again, if not available, I don't think you see him step up into these rides, because I don't think the allure, if you will, of what it used to be to just get into the Cup is there, because these guys know they're going to be there, but they want to wait. They don't want to get sucked in, because I think what you can see is guys get into it too early or not with the right team, and then their career just kind of falls back because they didn't get that opportunity. They should have waited maybe, and then when they hopped in, they didn't perform, so they didn't get that opportunity then that they could have had.
And you also got to think too. You take let's just take Cindric or Briscoe for instance. They're in Xfinity. They're used to running up front and competing for wins week in, week out. That's a big reality check once they get into Cup. You're not going to be competing for wins week in, week out. I mean, yeah, they're good, don't be wrong, but there's guys in Cup that are just as good and better.
Right.
And if say, I'm still going to say that Cindric's not going to go anywhere unless it's on Team Penske. I really think that's where he's going to end up. I mean, why wouldn't he? Right. Now, Briscoe, what if somebody comes and throws him an offer for a ride in Cup, and that's where you're trying to get. He gets that wrong ride. That could really damage his career.
Right.
Because you sit there and you're running in a crappy car, you're running them back, you can't do nothing. It just really breaks your ego.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely can. I see what you're saying. I agree with you full-heartedly there. So I think we see a solid group of guys here, though, moving up. I was really excited to see the rookie class this year. They performed. They've done decent. It's taken them some time to really get into the Cup car, get comfortable with it. But outside of that, they've done a good job. They've been entertaining, and I think the next step up, we're going to see the same thing. So that's where I do think NASCAR has a lot of promise. We've always kind of looked for that. Where's that Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt? Where's that rivalries?
Right.
The Tony Stewarts, the people like that.
And I think they're trying to create a few of those. They're trying to create.
But you have to have them like.
It has to be natural.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. There.
I want to touch on Tim's comment there. Kyle Busch on the downslope of his dominance. Mark my word, I kind of think it's due to his lack of running lower classes regularly. I wouldn't necessarily say he's on the downslope of his dominance. I think what's really affecting Kyle this year, these guys aren't getting any practice. None. I mean, you're going up, you're not qualifying, you're not nothing. You're showing up, you're unloading the car, and you're racing it.
But he's raced here before.
I understand that, but still, the cars change. I mean, you can put last year's setup on it, and I'm sure they've done some different things to the chassis over, from last year to this year. You might have that base setup, but still the tires change. I mean, there's a lot of factors that have changed from last season to this season. I just think, with him not being in the car and being able to practice, and I agree with what Tim's saying, not running the lower classes, because, Kyle's one that's always ready to jump in a truck, jump in an Xfinity car.
Right.
He's out there turning laps. And I think with Kyle Busch, the more laps he can turn, the better he gets.
And
he
right,
really understands how the track's going to change, how the car's going to change, where he doesn't get that right now. He's jumping in the car and racing, and they're trying to make all these adjustments through the race, and he's just, they're not getting it done. Where, Harvick, Hamlin, and even Truex, Busch's other teammate, I think he's fourth or fifth in points, and he's got some wins this year. I think those guys have, how do I put this, a better ability to jump in the car and go out there and drive it and deal with an ill-handling car better than Kyle.
Right, and I see what you're saying there, but I'll tell you what, if you saw the last lap yesterday and you saw Kyle just whip that turn 3 and 4 around, man.
I'm not saying that.
Right, no, I'm with you there, but it was just fantastic. Just I think we saw kind of a little bit of that fire maybe yesterday under him now, so we'll see how he performs going ahead here. So we'll see, but I do see what you're saying there. But at the same time, Hamlin, Harvick, they've been in it just about as long. Harvick longer than Busch.
I think Hamlin's longer than Busch too.
Those two, I would think, probably right around.
I think Hamlin come in before Kyle did, or
because Kyle had 2 stints.
Or maybe I'm wrong, because Kyle started at Hendrick.
He was exactly, and he was
at Hendrick, and he really didn't come alive till he got with Gibbs.
Oh no, it took that incident with Hendrick saying, "Hey, dude, you're gone."
Yeah,
like I don't want you. Like you're not good for this team. And I think it took that because I believe he said a year out then.
No.
Did he go straight to it?
I think he went straight to it.
So, but that's a kind of a little bit of reality check there. And kind of both of those guys are fierce. And you have Kurt in the playoffs here too.
Yeah.
You can't close your eyes when it comes to Kurt Busch. I got to give him credit. He's been up here all year long. He sneaks in a win here in these next couple of races. Watch out.
He's been Mr. Consistency this year. I mean, he hasn't been out there and getting wins, but he's been top 10 week after week after week. And that's I like to see that in a driver. I mean, a guy that's going to get out there, bring it home in a top 10 finish week in, week out. I'd rather have a driver like that that's going to go out and win one race every 20 races, but finish 25th, 30th, the other, So I'd rather have a consistent top 10 driver.
Right, exactly. And Tim asked, is that due to the bad prep in the garage, or is that talent? And I don't think it's the talent, because I think Busch has talent. I think
it starts with the garage, and I think didn't he change crew chiefs too?
That I'm not 100%. I was wondering on that.
I wanted to say that he has a new crew chief this year.
But it seems like and this is the one bad thing about Kyle Busch is you can't tell if he's happy with that crew or not, because he's always
right.
If it's a good race, hey, they're great. If it's a bad race, well, the car wasn't great.
But Harvick's the same way. Harvick's the first one to crucify his pit crew if they make a mistake or whatever. I mean, he'll be on the radio telling them all about themselves.
He'll be on the radio, but afterwards the race is over and they're talking, because that's between those guys. Yeah, it's going to get aired, but I think that's between the driver and the heat of the moment. You got to think his adrenaline pumping, everything. I
understand that,
when
but
you talks to the cameras. It's not, oh, my pit crew was a piece of.
He has said some things on the camera though too. I mean, he'll give his crew the business, which I don't agree with that. I mean, yeah, they're going to make mistakes, and yeah, in the heat of the moment, especially if you're battling for a lead or something, that's going to piss you off.
Right.
But at the same time, those are your guys. I mean, you can't break them down like that and then expect them to perform next week.
Or keep you safe in a car.
Right.
That'd be the last. Like, there's a couple people that I'm not mean to. The waiters at the restaurant preparing my food, and then the people working on my car. It's just that just makes sense to me. That just seems like common sense. So.
Well, and now that you're racing, you never want to piss off the motor builder either.
No, well, there's plenty of those in the 305.
Still, though, but there's some that are better than others, and you never want to piss them off. If you have a good one, you always want to make sure that you compliment him and tell him how good of a job he's doing.
Absolutely there. So it's time to kind of move on to...
Oh, real fast before we move on.
Yeah.
And we spoke about Hendrick a minute ago. So the rumor mill in NASCAR with Hendrick is... Kyle Larson may end up at Hendrick Motorsports.
Right, and I read an article before that was talking about how Larson, I mean, we thought he was going to go to Stewart-Haas. I mean, that was really it. But number one, he's still not reinstated from NASCAR.
No.
They have not reinstated him yet. I think the last time he really gave it a valiant effort was a month ago, and they denied him, I believe. So we'll see kind of how it all plays out. But
I think he'll be back by next year.
I think he'll be back. But Hendricks, I did read something that it said that they're looking at somebody that was in the playoffs. Now that could have been a diversion. Call it what you want, but I mean, it's a possibility that we could hear maybe now, because a lot of speculation was that Di Benedetto was possibly going to step into that 48 ride. So now that he's out of the playoffs, that pressure is off of that team. Maybe we see that announcement here this week. I don't necessarily. I don't think that's the right call myself. But
I don't either. I don't think he fits with that. I don't think he fits with that team.
I think Jeff is a big fan.
Oh, he is.
And those guys have that relationship, and it's not always about the skill, the talent. It's sometimes about who you know and who you get along
and
with.
how much money you can bring.
Absolutely there. So, and I agree. I mean, we talked about it before. Larson, I think, would be a fantastic candidate.
I would love to see Larson come to IndyCar, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, I think it'd be a hard pull for those guys to really do that there. So, I would interesting to see. I guess we will. We'll see here. I would think within the next month and a half, before the season is over, you'll find out where Larson is ending there. I don't think they're going to ride the Larson they're not going to ride that out too long, because number one, the team's got to fill the seats. So if they're going into the offseason, they want that driver and team to be ready to bang it out, have a good.
Okay, but you got to look at it this way too. If Hendrick is wanting to sign him, and we all know who's got pull in NASCAR, and that's Rick Hendrick. You know, they could NASCAR could put it like this. You know, Hendrick could say, hey, you know, I want to put Larson in the 48. I want him to drive my car. NASCAR could say this. All right, well, let's wait till January 1st of 2021. That way it's a new year. We'll reinstate him. He can drive for you. And if they tell him that within the next month, okay, so he knows that he's going to be in that car, they can start getting the car ready for Larson. Then come January 1st, he's reinstated, hit Daytona, start putting in work.
Right. Yeah, but I think, especially with the allure, because number one, this is going to be a big step for NASCAR, trying to pull all the drama, all the political, everything out of that.
That's why I'm saying they wait till January 1st to kind of let it
die down off of that, because they're really going to have to watch how they approach this situation here with reinstating and bringing him back there. But I think it does happen, and I think he deserves a spot. But my one question is, and we'll leave it at this, is here's what I don't like about this, because Chevy was the first one to come out and say, we're done with you.
Yep.
What's Hendrick?
Chevy.
So how are you going to come back and be like, yeah, we're good?
Yeah, because Hendrick's going to say, you know what? Either you're cool with it, or Toyotas will be on my car.
Yeah, somebody's going to.
I mean, because what? I don't want to see it happen, but, you know, Toyota's like this part of NASCAR now. There's not many Toyota teams in Cup. You got Gibbs, and you got a couple other one-offs.
Right.
Could you imagine if Hendrick went to Toyota?
No.
I don't think it ever happened because he owns so many Chevy dealerships.
Right.
But I'm just saying that what better way to get Toyota back up there? I mean, I don't see him going to Ford just for the simple fact that there's a lot of Ford teams now, and I'm sure Ford would love to have Hendrick. But I think if he was going to make a move, which he's not, or not that we know of, Toyota would be the right call for him if he was going to do that.
Right. And I could see that there. So you talk Toyota. We're going to get to our guests here.
Okay.
Talking about the karting event we got going on next week.
Yep.
But before.
And we can discuss a little bit about what he's going on over at Sarah.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that during this. And when we come back from the interview here with Elliot, we'll also get to talking a little bit of Toyota from the 24 hours.
Right.
Because that just finished up, and some exciting news there. So give me a second here. Let me get this pulled up, and we'll get this interview here with Elliot Cox rolling.
Well, hello. How's it going, Elliot?
Good, how are you?
I am fantastic. I am going to ask you to speak up just a hair here so they can all hear you out there. Those checkers and records heads, they want to get to know you.
Okay.
And I want to get to know you here as well. You're a young phenom here in the racing world, as we like to say. And you've come up from karting. Kind of explain your your rise here and how you got started.
So, starting out, I wanted to race dirt bikes.
All right, so let's start with the dirt bikes here. You wanted to get into dirt bikes, but what took you towards karting?
So we were looking online, and we went to a store, Comet Kart Sales, and we got there, and there was a little cart, and I was like, Grandpap, I want to get this. And he was like, well, okay, let's do it. And we brought it back home in the back of a GMC, and we asked my mom for help getting it out. And she was like, oh, what do you get into? And she got out, and she freaked out and thought that I was never going to drive it anywhere but the grass. And we tried to set it down in the grass and didn't drive in the grass. So then we took it to the racetrack, and I fell in love with it. And even though Mom didn't like it, here we are now.
Right, absolutely. And you're actually going past karting now and kind of stepping it up. What's the next step up for you?
So I just signed with Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing for an F4 program.
Very nice. How excited are you when you got that phone call?
I really didn't get a phone call. I was going to bed, and my dad was like, hey, we just got a call from Sarah and Andy, and they want to try to get you into F4 cars. And then I didn't sleep.
Right, absolutely. That's a great way to kind of end the day there.
Yeah.
So, what did you know about F4 cars before you got this news? Were you familiar with these?
Yeah, I've seen them a few times at the PRI show, and I thought they were really cool. But I had always thought we were gonna. I don't know how I thought we were gonna do it, but I thought we were gonna go into some kind of F4 or feeder series. And when it came, I was like really amazed that it came so early, and I'm really lucky to have this opportunity at such a young age.
Absolutely, there. It's because you're actually a year younger than legally you can be, or through the rules you can be to race F4. So you get a whole year to practice here.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people really get that opportunity. Am I correct?
Yeah, most of the time you have to be 14 to race the series, and I'm lucky that I get to start at 13 years old. I get to start testing, so when I hit the 14 years old, I'll be ready to go.
Absolutely. So let's kind of step back to the karting world here, because that's kind of your true love, your first love. But I guess I don't want to step away from that dirt bike thing too far, because at first, so was this a road kart or was this a dirt kart?
This was a road kart.
Okay, so right away you kind of went from the dirt and you said, I'm going to make this jump. That's complete different worlds there.
Yeah, I don't know kind of how. I just wanted to drive something, I guess. And I had seen dirt bikes on TV once, and I was like, kind of want to try that. But my grandpa didn't like the idea of getting a dirt bike very much, neither did my parents. So we instead got a little car.
4 wheels are better than 2. I kind of agree with that.
4 wheels, and then my dad sit on pavement.
Right, absolutely. I'm with you there, because you don't know where that back end's kind of going on the dirt.
Yeah.
That always scares me there. So what has given you this opportunity? What has kind of caught the eye of Sarah and Andy and the Hartmans here to let you step into this F4 car here?
I think it's my hard work on track. I've won a few national championships, and I've been getting really good results. And then you have to represent yourself well off the track.
Absolutely. The attitude off the track's a huge thing. What was kind of funny is I'm sitting in here that we're at Elliot's house right now, and it's kind of crazy because you talk to the kid on the track, and when we're at the track, he's so professional. I come here, he's swinging on the playground, so it's kind of something you don't expect from you. But I mean, at the end of the day, how old are you? You're
13.
13 now. So I mean, that just speaks in volumes on just the type of attitude you do have, and really the maturity, because a lot of 14, 13-year-olds like that, they are steps way behind you, and it'd be very scary to put them in a vehicle that you're about to get into. So kind of to talk on that, do you have any nerves? Are you scared at all kind of getting into, because that's a little bigger power change there?
I'm nervous, but I don't think it's more about the power. It's more about just like, it's a whole different thing than what I've done before. It's a closed cockpit car instead of where I've been in the open seated go-karts. And it's just going to be a whole different experience. It's just the nerves of learning something new, I think.
Absolutely. You're at that age, though, that you can really absorb and really just take it all in. And having Sarah, Andy, kind of those guys to teach you through this, as they've been there, they've done that. That's gotta feel good as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So you're wearing a little shirt there and a hat that's all matching, driving for dyslexia. Why don't you kind of step into that? Because I think that's just a fantastic thing that you got going, and it's actually something that you have started, correct?
Yeah, so I founded my charity Driving for Dyslexia in 2018 because my hero Justin Wilson also had dyslexia, and I got to meet him, sit down with him, and he told me not to let just dyslexia stop me, and I was going to get called dumb and stupid. And he just really taught me that nothing can stop me, and yeah. And when he passed away, I wanted to carry on his legacy, so I wanted to start the charity, and since I've started it, we've raised about $94,000 for dyslexia.
Fantastic there, and that goes to, I'm sure, helping the aid of people with dyslexia and things like that, maybe families that aren't able to get that aid, now they are because of your foundation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is just absolutely phenomenal. That's fantastic. And was this your idea? Was this mom and dad's idea, and you kind of ran with it?
Yeah, it was my idea, and I told my parents that I wanted to do it, and they've been completely supportive of it since I wanted to. So.
I mean, how could you not be supportive of something like that? I mean, you're out there, you're putting on a platform here that, like I said, not many people are able to put themselves on, and on top of that, you're out there not just getting sponsors for your ride here, but you're actually trying to raise money for dyslexia, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think we got a race coming up, and it's got Driving for Dyslexia all over it. Why don't you tell them about that? Because I'm excited. And for all you who don't know, this is my coach on the track, so I'm asking him all types of questions as he's out there. How do I hit this turn? How do I do this? Where should I brake? Everything. And he's got me seconds on the track just from just little chats here and there. But go on and describe what we got going on here in what will be a little less than a week when we get this on.
So we're having a Driving for Dyslexia event on the 26th of September, and it's going to be at Whiteland Raceway Park. We're going to have an auction. We're going to have the day race is called the Driving for Dyslexia Grand Prix. And when we're done with that, we're going to have the rental cart challenge. Anyone can join. It'll be $50 for one ride. And like I said, we'll have a silent auction. We'll have cool items like signed wheels. We'll have signed Scott Dixon gloves, signed jerseys, and all kinds of other cool stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
So you kind of perked up there when you said Scott Dixon. Is that a favorite of yours?
Yeah, it is one of my favorite drivers. I got to do a news commercial, or a radio commercial with him to endorse one of Justin Wilson's U-Swag companies.
Nice. Very nice there. So growing up, it's kind of, I was always a Jeff Gordon, Buddy Lazier. You're big into racing. I'm sure you've heard that. You definitely know Jeff Gordon. Maybe Buddy Lazier. That might be a little before your time. But who are your inspirations on the track? Is it Wilson? Is it Scott Dixon? Who do you look up to?
I look up to really all of them because they've all inspired me to get there. All of them are obviously really good at what they do because they've made it to this level, and I just look up to all of them. Yeah. Absolutely.
So when the race is on, you got to be cheering on somebody. I after last year, I'm a huge Felix Rosenquist fan myself. Who do you cheer on? Who are you rooting for to cross the line first?
I've been really wanting Pato Award to win. This year he's been really close on, I think, 3 occasions now, and I think he's getting really close to that win, and I'm going to support him all the way.
Absolutely there. A fantastic ride there in that McLaren. I'm looking forward to that as well. As he's, I think, sitting third still in the points, so just a fantastic run by these guys. We're seeing a lot of growth in IndyCar, and I talked to you before, you're a huge IndyCar fan. You don't even mention F1, which usually for a person of your stature, your ability, they're thinking F1, but you're all IndyCar, correct?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really know what F1 was when I first learned what IndyCar was. I got to go to my first Indy 500, and when I learned that it was a big deal, I was like, immediately, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I want to win that at the youngest age.
What was the first 500?
I think 2014.
Who won it? You got to know that, right?
I think it was what's his name?
Was it Dario in 2014?
I don't know what year it was, but it was a Hunter Ray when he won it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice there. So very exciting to watch your growth here, as you kind of have after F4. You're excited. You're looking forward. You said you want to be the youngest to not only run in the 500, you want to win the thing down there. So some high hopes there. I look forward. I'm going to be wearing Elliot Cox all the way up through the road to Indy. I'm pumped to watch it. I can say, hey, he taught me a thing or two. Elliot, thanks so much for giving me the time here today. I'm like I said, nothing excites me more than watching your growth here in open wheel.
Thank you. It was good to see you.
Absolutely. This is my coach. You can't walk away from the track for too long. You got to come back every now and then to Whiteland so you can give me the ins and outs there.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun to race there, so I don't see why not.
Absolutely. It does seem like these guys kind of, after every weekend here and there on their off weeks, they like to get back in those karts. So it's something that's really where the love starts. It's where you can see your love for racing started. For sure, so it'd be awesome. Thanks, Elliot, again. It's been great. It's been fantastic. I'm looking so forward to the Driving for Dyslexia event we got going on. What was the date again? I'm terrible with dates.
September 26th.
September 26th. There's going to be cookies for sale. What else is out there as far as a food truck? They just said...
Reverie? Yeah, Reverie.
Perfect. Food, cookies. You're talking about just my type of deal there. I'm going to have to get some stuff afterwards. I can't eat before. Yeah. I don't know how you guys do that. You guys do that big carb up or something. I'd be puking it all out there.
I don't really eat before, but then in the middle of the day,
I was going to say, it looks like you're always eating during that. I can't do that. I see you got a handful of something constantly. I'm just like, oh, I wish I could eat right now. But maybe I just got to lose a little more of this, try to look a little slimmer like you are there, and we'll get it out
a little
there.
more so I don't break my cart before the weight.
Well, we can switch a little. Well, I'll give you can take there. So, Elliot, thanks again. Appreciate it. And as always, thanks for all the help out at the track.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, hello there. Caught me off guard.
Hello.
Caught me sleeping.
Yeah, I just happened to look. I was like, "Oh, we're back."
I was finishing listening to the interview there with Elliot. A fantastic. I mean, you talk about a great spirit, a great attitude right there, and not only that, but has overcome that disability there with dyslexia. And it doesn't seem like he even seems it as a disability. It's just something he's got, and he's got he's just working with it.
I don't know. I still got cookies on my mind right now, and I seen the picture they posted on Facebook the other day. They should have sent some of them over for today. We could have sat here and ate them and showed them off.
Then we'd sound like Daniel and Damon over there.
That's true. No, I think that's awesome what Elliot's doing for dyslexia. And man, I've watched him at Newcastle race a few times. The kid can drive. He's a driver. He's very good. And you know me, I love karting, so I'm all about it. I think seeing kids like Elliot, the future of karting, and now he's moving up. That's what some people do karting just for fun.
Right.
Some people do it as a stepping stone to move up into, and chase their dream, and that's what Elliot's doing, and I think it's awesome, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you talk about just a fantastic,
very polite.
Yeah. But that was so funny when I got there and he's swinging on the swing set with his sister. It's like, man, I'm not used to seeing this side. Usually you're over here like,
I mean,
you just got to hit your apex over here.
At the end of the day, he's still a kid.
Absolutely.
I mean,
once he puts that helmet on, he steps out of that and he puts on his I was going to say his big boy brain, but I hate when people say that.
Well, that's like the saying goes, when the green flag drops, the bullshit stops.
Right, absolutely. So there was a turn, a pass that he made the last race we were out there. He came off the track. Did you see that? Did you see that? And I was like, whoa, I yanked my thing out. I said, yeah, that was incredible. And he was like, heck yeah. I knew he was a little quicker than me, but so I had to put it in front there to make sure I got in front of him so he couldn't get back around me. I was like, dude, that was a fantastic move there. Taking notes from Coach over here. So it was so cool that a 13-year-old that is already looking forward into stepping into, the road to Indy car, stuff like that, but will sit back and talk to a guy out there at karting just having fun with it.
Right.
And he has no problem just walking through the track. I mean, it's second nature.
And he's already signed a deal with Sarah Fisher and Hartman Racing. So
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
he's a signed driver at 13 years old.
So I was talking to his parents and stuff, and they were talking about how his teacher one day asked the class, "What do you want to do for a career?" Well, he said he wanted to be a race car driver. She's like, "No, what do you really want to do for, like, when you get done with karting and stuff?" He's like, "No, I want to go to the 500." And she's like, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And he's like, "Okay, I'll say marketing." So he's smart too. I thought that was incredible.
I mean, I guess she couldn't grasp the concept that people actually race and get paid and make a career out of it.
I think a lot of, how many karters that are his age say, "I'm going to race in the 500.
Oh, it's true. But I mean, like I said, you have the people out there that are just racing simply for fun.
Right.
Then you have the people that are racing because they want to go to the 500. They want to run a NASCAR. They want to, run in midgets or sprint cars, Karting's the stepping stone.
Right. And it was funny to hear him say that he wanted to get into dirt bikes there. So
that's where Jimmy Johnson started out.
That's what I was thinking there. But when he went to look at a dirt bike, they ended up going to Comet instead. And he was like, "Oh, that looks cool." And Dad obviously told him there that, I like the 2 wheels instead of 4 and being on pavement too.
And it's funny, back in the day when I was a kid and going to Comet, you could go in there and buy a dirt bike or a go-kart. They used to be a Honda dealer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they like if you walk in the front door of Comet and the left side of the store right there, that all used to be Hondas. They had motorcycles, dirt bikes. They didn't have ATVs at the time, but they had the Odysseys.
Uh-huh.
And then you had all the Honda parts counter over here, and then all this side was go-karts.
So if you ever meet Elliot, you'll have to ask him about his grandfather's skydiving accident.
Okay.
It's a little joke there from
Okay.
the interview.
I'll have to remember that.
I'm sure he'll get a kick
I would be at Whiteland Saturday to cheer you guys on, but I'm going to Brownstown.
Yeah, tell him what you're going to check out there.
I'm going to see the Lucas Oil late models at Brownstown on the dirt, 20,000 to win, baby.
That'll be an interesting. You put
big
that,
boys will be there. Beat Brandon Shep,
Yeah.
all of them.
So that's what I was gonna. You put that money out. I wonder if Larson comes hunting.
I'm hoping.
Right.
I'm really hoping he shows up.
So it'll be interesting to see. Like Jason Reese said, he took another 2 wins. So he's up to 39 wins this year. I mean, that's impressive. You step over. You're doing what you love. You're having fun at it. And you see, like I said, it kind of goes back to what I talked about Kyle Busch is he's not out there. He's not having fun right now. He's not doing what he needs to do.
Where Larson's having a blast.
And it's showing because he can kind of relax, step back, and get into his groove a little easier. So,
and I'll tell you, that dude on the dirt, he's a natural.
Oh, absolutely there. So we talk a little Toyota before that interview with Elliot. Let's go back to the Toyota because they ended up taking a champion today.
Yeah. 24-hour Le Mans, Sebastian Buemi.
Exactly. So like you said, it's just a fantastic, what's the word I want to say? Just a plan, I guess, by the Toyota team there.
You take an ex-F1 driver and throw him in your car and he dominates.
And Buemi's on fire.
And who drives their other car?
Who's that?
Mike Conway.
There you go. Even better. So
because he was leading for a long time. Conway was out in the lead for a long time. Buemi had to come in and change a tire because I guess they had one go down or something. And then Conway comes in for a pit stop and goes back out and loses his gap. I mean, Buemi's on him like that. Conway's radioing in, "What'd you guys do to the car? Why am I getting passed?"
Right.
They're like, "Oh, we just changed one tire." You changed one tire? What?
It was a timing thing.
I don't know what it was. But Conway wasn't happy, and Buemi ended up getting by him and never looked back.
That's interesting. Like I said, yeah. Whoops, that's all we had time for. Sorry about that. So it works out for Buemi in the end of the day. as he leads that team pretty much to a fantastic finish there. Another 24-hour Le Mans is over, and these guys are ready to look forward to. It's not long till the next one. It's going to be interesting. You know, we say how much 2020 is so different here this year, but looking at next year, the 500 so much quicker in there. So a lot of these guys have a year to get prepared. Now you have 7-8 months. So it is going to be a little different in 2021 to see how they adjust to that as well. So it's not just a 1-year deal here when you look at kind of the whole scheme of things at the end of the day. So it'll be kind of cool and, like I said, entertaining at least to see how these teams can adjust to that change as well. So move on to.
Want to hit some
don't cry about it.
IndyCar a little bit?
Yeah.
We got a couple things. Oh, I know.
He's getting emotional.
I had a frog in my throat.
His buddy Sebastian Bourdais is back in IndyCar, and he's not waiting till next year. He's in it now.
Yep.
They're putting behind it now. So I'm excited to see. I think Trowbridge is excited because he's going to hopefully be on that team there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you see what this man has done in IndyCar. He's a 7-time champion. He's raced in Formula One before for a prestigious team in Red Bull. And then on top of that, look what he did when he was with Coyne. Just how he brought that team. I really think that team really rested on his shoulders.
I think that's what AJ Foyt's looking for.
Exactly.
They're looking at him to come in and really try to get their team, moving forward. Yep. I mean, because, sorry, Timmy, if you're watching, AJ Foyt Racing has just been stuck right here, right towards the bottom for a long time. And not putting TK down, I just don't think he was the guy to come in there and kind of really get him. I think Bourdais going to come in there and really help him. I don't know who they're keeping as a second driver. Rumor has it that TK still may be there in the second car. Now, probably just for ovals again. But I think that Dalton Collette, if you had Bourdais and then Collette there, let Bourdais kind of take Collette under his wing, kind of like how he did Ferrucci.
Yep, that's what I was going to.
And really mentor him and get him. And I really think that's what AJ Foyt Racing needs. Not putting down Charlie Kimball either. You need that one guy that's going to be kind of like you said with Coyne, the glue. I mean, to hold everything together.
And look what they did since with Coyne. I mean, they haven't fallen off.
No.
I mean, he built a solid backbone. They've lost an engineer. They've lost a solid driver. And Ferrucci has stepped up. Now, without having Bourdais there, I don't think Ferrucci is able. I'm not going to say able, but I don't think he is as successful stepping into that top driver role like he did and being as. I don't
think he was ready yet.
But without Bourdais, he's nowhere close.
No.
So I think that's definite. So you see that maybe that could help Collette. Maybe this is their time to talk to Bourdais and say, hey, who do you think we can bring in with you to push us forward here? Who are you comfortable mentoring here? Because I think that's their best asset they have. And the guy's still fast, even at his age. He was the top time over at COTA when they tested there. So he's been behind the aero screen. It's going to be completely new to him. But obviously, it's a little bit different. But he was one of the ones that tested because of the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to get behind the aero screen and see how it would affect the glasses there. So,
and I mean, and you look at that formula we're talking about. You look at other teams. You look Ganassi. You got Dario Franchitti as the team principal, mentor, whatever you want to call him. That's incredible to have, somebody like Dario Franchitti. You go over to Penske, they still got Rick Mears back there, and you think these guys aren't going to listen to Rick Mears? Right. He's won how many races and championships?
McLaren. Gil
DeFerrin.
Gil DeFerrin, yeah.
Is it Carpenter's got Ari? I believe Carpenter has Ari.
Somebody. Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, all these teams have these veteran drivers. So, I think it's a win-win for AJ Foyt. not only can he be that guy to mentor and help hold your team together, he can also get in the car and be fast.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm excited to see what he does here October 2nd and 3rd as they roll into Indianapolis.
And we're allowed to go.
10,000 people. Have you got your tickets
No,
yet?
I haven't.
I bet this thing's going to sell out with 10,000 people. I can't
Probably.
imagine those tickets are going to last long, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, unfortunately, because kids.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it does. Ashley's got a training on Saturday.
Oh, that's right.
And
She's trading positions now.
She is. Yeah,
Congratulations,
so she's got, like, a
Ashley.
little training session there on Saturday, and that's Mom and Dad's anniversary. So I can't ask the babysitters, old Mom and Dad, to help out. I just wouldn't feel right.
Well, I figure it's a couple weeks before my birthday, so it's going to be like a birthday present to myself.
There you go. It should be an absolute. Just to hear the cars roar here at Indy again will be fantastic. Now Sunday.
Mr. Hanowski said he's got his ticket. Did you get an extra one for me too, buddy?
Right. Now, Sunday, I'm not ruling out myself going to the 8-hour because there's an 8-hour IMSA race the day after those.
That's right.
So practice, it's going to be interesting. So Friday, Saturday, the IndyCar
My thing on the
race.
IMSA, not to interrupt, is they're not going to have the prototypes. That's the only thing that kind of breaks my heart because I want to see the prototypes.
That's a big. You need a big track.
It is. Really, I mean, to get all three classes out there, it would be hard. It would be hard. But I really want to see the prototypes.
Maybe bring them just by themselves.
Yeah.
Do a prototype race.
Yeah.
On another date there, because that's things we're going to see from Penske though. I think as time goes on, you're going to see the additional because he sees it just like I have. As I get why so long because the Harvest Classic. Here's a little did you know fact: was the only race. I can't remember the year. It was back in the 19-teens, but was the only race that was ever ran up until 1993 or 94 when the Brickyard started outside of May. And it was the Harvest Class. They ran an IndyCar race one time, and the Holman family then stepped back and they said, hey, this is a prestigious event. We want one event here all year. To me, that's just a waste of. That's a big area. You're paying a lot of taxes on.
Yeah.
You gotta.
And they did it for years, though. They did it for years until the Brickyard.
1994,
yeah,
93. I can't remember. I think it's 94. But absolutely. So for years, and then think about how long was it? Just 2 races. So I mean, really, you had the museum. But there's no way that's covering your operating cost.
Well, but the museum has nothing to do with the track. Museum is not owned by the track.
Right.
It's a non-profit organization.
Yep, fair enough.
So the track's not getting any of that money.
Yeah, so to me, it just didn't make sense. And I think with Penske here at the helm, you're going to see a lot more races come here. It just makes sense.
And he's talked about a 24-hour race, and he really is pushing to get a 12 or 24-hour race. So I think he wants 24-hour.
That's why it's a test. You got to see how it works out. I'd love to the hours are just during the day, but I mean, eventually these things have headlights, so you could see them. You'd have to put lights in the infield, I think. That's where I think you can get away from the claws.
You would have to light that track up like it's daylight.
You wouldn't have to light the oval. I think that's where
you would have to light parts of the oval because that's part of the road course.
Right, but what I'm saying is I think you could get away with infield lighting, so you wouldn't have which I don't know the stipulations on why they haven't put lighting there yet.
You would have to light the whole facility that way because say somebody overshoots a turn and runs, because the way the road course is, turn 4 is
turn 1.
Turn 1 for the road course. Well, actually right before. But anyways, so if somebody overcooks it, runs off, you're going to have that lit up so they can see where they're going. So you're going to have the whole facility lit up.
So that, I think, is going to prevent...
Which they need to do that anyways because there's also been talks about a NASCAR night race there, which I think would be way better than having it on one of the hottest days of the year.
Think about that. So bring it here. You got the Xfinity race on the road course. If they can provide that entertainment that they did this year and then back it up with the Brickyard at night.
Yeah.
Is the Brickyard a more entertaining race? Probably not. But you get a party a little bit. You get to have a little fun. And you're not roasting your chestnuts.
Right. I mean, and we've discussed it. That track's just not made to run NASCARs on. Now, I would love to see him put NASCAR. They already did with the Xfinity, and I think what they were doing was a test. I think we're going to see the Cup cars on the road course eventually because that would make that race more exciting. I would be much more willing to go if it was on the road course than on the oval. I get offered free tickets to go to the Brickyard, and I turn them down. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry. If you've ever been there, that is a boring race.
And like you said, it's hot.
Woof.
It's very hot.
Woof.
So
I'm having nightmares just thinking about it.
Right. But so we talked Bourdais. We've talked about some IndyCar action. We saw Elliott talking about Pato O'Ward. He's still holding on to a solid contention here. Now, is he going to win the title? No. I think Scott Dixon has kind of grown the lead between third, that now it's just really between Dixon and Newgarden.
Yeah.
So, but man, to see O'Ward fight this hard, and again, I go back to the you got to have fun at what you're doing. He's having a blast, man. He's hopping out of that car every week, and he's got a smile behind that mask.
And, another cool thing about it is you look at the team he's running for. McLaren came to play. They came to play. They brought loaded guns, and they're not backing down. The Smith-Peterson arrow part has been in effect. So they kind of have been around, but then you bring McLaren in, and we seen the debacle last year with them and Fernando in the 500.
I think both of those, they were one piece away from each puzzle.
Yep.
And then they went click.
Yep.
And now that puzzle, boom.
Yeah.
And we're seeing.
I mean, Oliver's had some growing pains this year, but all in all, he hasn't ran bad.
No, and I'm excited to see what he can do in these next two races here in Indy.
But I'll go out on a limb and say, don't be surprised at the two races at Indy if you don't see Pato get a win.
There's a possibility because, not only is he hungry, but he's got that desire. He's kind of, is he Senna? No, but he's got that Senna mentality. He's going to take a corner. If you give him a little gap, he's going for it.
He's a road course driver, too.
Right, absolutely. You can't forget his stint there over in overseas. There.
What did he finish in the GP?
I can't remember, honestly, going back that far.
Keep talking, and I'll look it up.
But then F1 race last week. I think we talked about it a little bit on the show, but that was about the $12 million nightmare.
That was Demolition Derby.
Somebody asked me last night at the wedding I was at. They were like, "What did you think of that F1 race last week?" I was like, "I liked it, but not because of Rex. I thought it was an interesting race because of those restarts." But I said the owners, they didn't. That was a nightmare situation there. And like Grosjean said, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to kill us? It's like, I don't know why you stack up. It's something we see on iRacing, guys that they get right behind a guy, they check up. But that's what happens, I guess, when you're sitting so close to the floor and you can't see anything but the car in front of you.
Pato finished 8th.
So, and where'd Oliver finish?
Oliver was...
He was below him. You're scrolling.
He was 26th.
Okay.
I think he got in a crash or something happened to the car.
So, but that, solid for a top 10 there, and he's going off the momentum. It's just been upwards since then, really. So it'll be exciting to see. And not only am I excited to see, the last 4 races we have, something like that, but going forward next year to see what Pato can do, especially if we talked about this last week, but I kind of want Perez not to get a seat in F1 now. So we can see him race over here in IndyCar.
I would love to see that. And McLaren already said, we got a ride for you.
Exactly.
And so if he would do that, your teammates is one of your fellow countrymen in Pato. So I could see that being a lethal combination right there. Perez, Pato, and then you sprinkle in Oliver. That would be a stout team.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a stout team.
I completely agree there. So in the back of my mind, yes, I want to see Perez in the new format with F1 because I think he's going to be a solid driver. But I'd love to see him do a stint over here, and I'd like to see him on the ovals. I think he'd be a driver. He's a very cautious driver. He's not. He's kind of like that.
He's smart.
He's a Scott Dixon-ish driver. He's not. I don't think he's that caliber, but he's not going to put the car in situations he doesn't need to, and that's going to give him 2 spots at the end of the race. So I just think he's impressive. I've always liked him since I started watching, and it's just a shame the way that came down to him. I know we talked about it before, but after reading kind of what he did for the team and bringing in some money of his own, really helping them develop that car when Force India sold it to racing or changed the racing point there. They were about to go bankrupt. They were about to lose it.
He stuck with them.
Exactly. And then Big Daddy Stroll comes in and says, well, Lance is better, so you're gone. And I'm not saying Lance hasn't performed this year because we've seen Stroll up in the race. He scored some points, but at the end of the day, Stroll is one of those drivers. He's going to take it away from himself. It's not like Perez, where Perez is being calm and collected. Stroll is going to throw it in. It's like what we saw last year's perfect example is when Vettel took him off course, and he's going over the radio. He's like, what is he doing? He about killed me, as he pulls out on Gasly. And it's okay, you can't complain about that guy doing something 2 seconds earlier, and then you do it. That's just the carelessness I think we see a Stroll. So I think Big Daddy Stroll is going to be costing himself a little more money in that decision to keep his son and not
I
Perez.
mean, Lance is 6th in points with 57 points, and Perez is 9th with 44.
You got to remember Perez did miss out 2 races.
He did.
So
he did.
Without those 2 races missing, you possibly see him in a higher situation there. So you never know. I saw a meme to finish the F1, but you know that fire that Stroll had?
Mm-hmm.
So they showed like after the extinguishers, and it looked like the silver bullet. So it melted away the Force India wrap or the Racing Point wrap.
That's funny.
And it was the silver arrow from last year. I thought that was pretty good.
That's funny.
So McLaren,
which we all know what that's what it is.
McLaren tested a Mercedes style nose in the last practice there at the last race weekend. So be interesting to see because they're about on the halt for production of this year's car, and they can then start on next year's, but they're not supposed to be starting on next year's yet. They think that's kind of a loophole McLaren found for next year's car.
And we've already discussed McLaren IndyCar, and now we're discussing an F1. You know, McLaren and as a whole, they're hitting on all cylinders right now.
They are.
In F1, you got Lando's 4th in points. That's, you know, you look at 2-3 years back for McLaren to be sitting 4th in points. That's incredible. They've really made leaps and bounds in their F1 program. I mean, they're still not up there with Mercedes and Red Bull, which really Mercedes is kind of in a class of their own until you get to certain tracks. Then Red Bull can compete with them. But you have to be impressed with what McLaren's done. And I think with their F1 side having success like they're having, that really reflects to the IndyCar side. And we've seen what they're doing. So you got IndyCar side, you got a driver that's sitting 3rd in points. F1 side, you got a driver that's sitting 4th in points. That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Yep. I completely agree with you there. So it'll be interesting to see how they keep this momentum rolling here, especially we've mentioned it many times here on the show with Daniel Ricciardo coming into that team. He missed his spot there because it was promises before.
Yeah.
And now it's results.
Yep.
So he's finally okay to make that jump over there.
And I think he's doing it at a great time because I think the car's really good right now.
And it's just going to get stronger going into you did, Timmy.
Yes, you did, Tim.
It's just getting stronger as they go into the new regulations and everybody, because they're selling their world or their headquarters.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be put into this new car, and it's gonna match.
That's a shame though, because have you seen
beautiful.
McLaren's headquarters?
Oh, it's beautiful.
How
it's right on the lake there, or the pond.
Yeah, it almost looks like one of those infinity pools.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, because the comes right up to the building.
That's when they stack the cars too.
Yes, yes, the cars. It's like, wow. How could you have a bad day if you walked into a place like that and you just seen all these beautiful past F1 cars lined up?
Because you drove past a bunch of the high wigs McLaren sitting out there in your Toyota.
I would still be fine, because I would just walk down and salivate over all the F1 cars sitting there.
Right. No, it looks like it's just a fantastic facility. So, but what they're saying is that's not like a sign of they're hurting. But what they want to do is really jump into this next stage of F1 and be right there. So it's not the top 3 anymore. It's the top 4. I'm okay with that. I see why. And I think it's a good idea there. So,
and actually, I think, we can consider it the big 5 now.
With Racing Point there.
Yeah.
You look at it and I read an article this week, and it was talking about how Red Bull has started now to start funding that Alpha team a little more because of the regulations. So that's going to start to be more of a match. So you might have a lot more teams right there ready to compete here earlier than we thought, because I think at first McLaren thought that there was going to be a big not a big, but a couple year catch up, because you're still catching up to the stuff that they had done to this point. But I think with the funds that you see Racing Point has, the McLaren will have if they're able to sell this, that even I think Renault with their new partnership with Alpine, you see that. And, okay.
Well, and I was just going to bring up Renault. So Ricardo's been producing some pretty decent results, and I think he's 5th in points. He's
right there. He had that 4th place finish there last week. So
that car and that team's really made a turnaround, and now he's leaving, and you're bringing Fernando in. So Alonso's stepping into that ride. I'm being hopeful, but the way it's all playing out and setting up, I think within the next few years, we're going to start seeing some really good racing in F1.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what
I mean, you're not going to see Mercedes going out and dominating week in, week out anymore. I think you're going to see 5, maybe 6 teams competing.
And Max Verstappen is quoted this week saying, these cars are too wide and they're too long for us to really get close and race. So
they are long,
and they're if you look at them, they are very wide. But you go to once again. It's a safety issue. I don't know about the length of the car. Probably is with your legs. So it can take that front end collision.
Well,
legs aren't right there at the front end.
And by the time you get all the what do they call it with like the battery charge and everything like that? Not DRS. It's MGUK or something like that.
I know what you're talking about.
So by the time you get all that in there too, underneath the what you would call the hood,
right,
or the cowl, whatever, plus the engine. The F1 car's got a lot more stuff going on back there than what an Indy car does.
Right, it does, yeah.
So I think that's why it might be just a little bit longer, because it seems like it's longer in the back side than the front side.
Yeah, I don't know, because you look at that like
I think what makes the front end look so long is their wing slender configuration.
Right.
I mean, you got a 18-layer stack job wing on the front that hangs out, this far.
But and also look at the 80s, the 90s before then. Those guys' legs, if they were in a front end collision, their legs are hanging out of the cars. Nowadays, they're in a front end collision, their legs are still in that tub, so you're having to build the car around that tub, I think is the...
Well, but if you look, the way their nose is, it kind of comes up, so their legs aren't even in that part. They're back here, so all that just kind of gets knocked off, and they're good.
You're right. So you got to play in fact for safety, stuff like that. So I think that's what they have to do, though, is partially dumb these cars down a little. But even an Indy car, You look at how long those are nowadays.
Kinetic energy systems.
And those, okay.
Thank you, Timmy.
Go figure. He's the one to nail that one out. But Indy cars, they're even not to the effect, I don't think, of a F1 car, but we've seen the growth of Indy cars. You look in the 90s, those things are tight. I mean, they're compact. Look at the kart cars when they split up, but they were wide. That is one thing. Indy cars have always seemed to be wide since the 70s, when they really switched from that kind of sprint car look over to their own kind of their body, their style. That's kind of they took that wide approach.
I love the look of the late 80s, early 90s Indy cars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I thought they were just sexy.
Right. No, I'm with you 100% there. So I'm looking up. You guys can't see it, but I got a buddy with Zier diecast up there, and I think they're really looking a lot more like, because that's 2001 when he won the series.
Mm-hmm.
So look at that car. That looks more like that than the 100th running Rossi does today.
I didn't care for that car.
No,
at all.
I agree.
That one,
But that's what I'm saying is that car over there, the Buddy Lazier's, looks more like throw an aero screen on top of that Buddy Lazier ride. Man, it looks pretty similar to what you're running here today. So,
and then remember, like going back on the cars I was talking about a minute ago, how the wing just kind of drooped down a little bit on the front,
right.
and it looked like it was about that wide.
Oh yeah, it's a tiny little thing. So, you got any other news here today?
Not that I can think of.
I saw Hayden was back out on the dirt here. Unfortunately, if you guys are in the Monsters of Dirt, good news. We'll do the good news, bad news.
Right. John's okay.
Yeah.
He's
family,
safe.
Everything,
right.
I guess, is okay. Bad news is the trees on his property are not, nor are the power lines.
No, he said there was like 20 trees knocked down on his property.
Now, granted, it looks like he's got about 1,000.
He does. He's John's not in the heart of the city. He's out off the beaten path.
Yeah, the movies you see, like in horror movies, where they're in Florida, the backwoods.
Yeah,
that's kind of what John's like makes his property sound.
Well, and he said, like we've been in races and on Discord before. He's like, yeah. Come on out to my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't joking.
You're not gonna.
He wasn't joking. He's out off the sticks.
But that's gonna back the Monsters of Dirt up a week there. So it's not going away. If you hop on there, you realize, hey, maybe you were gonna hop on because tonight was gonna start slide.
I know.
So maybe you're gonna hop on there tonight. I gotta check. I think Pricks of Pavement is still good. Because
I believe they will be.
I should check that because I'm not 100% certain on that, but I know the Wednesday show I got with them is going to be delayed 1 week there, so we're knocking it back 1 week. I got the Pro late models. The
season will start next Sunday,
right?
So you'll have Slide Job Sunday. Then is Monday going to be the Bomber Series?
Yes, I think so. Now, I could be bad about this. I think you're correct. Tuesday's going to be their limited.
Yep.
Wednesday's going to be their pros. So you got the pro fixed on CWTV. Then Jay Weezy's taking the All-Stars again there.
Right.
I want to say Thursday, Friday, they may be off again. Are they doing modifieds again?
Well, Thursday will probably still be the developmental series going, but as far as
Pricks and Pavement, right?
As far as dirt, I don't know if there's anything scheduled for Thursday.
And
Friday.
John doesn't have internet, so he's not on to say.
Right,
so,
right.
Timmy, if you know, maybe. If you don't know, well, now you know. But
Timmy said Pricks of Pavement is still on for tonight.
Okay, good deal. So perfect there. We're gonna keep rocking out there.
I might try to jump in tonight. I didn't get around Thursday night.
Where's it? Kansas.
Kansas
should be a fun one there. That's always a good track.
You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
One, you have to watch those tires. Definitely got to watch the wear there. The wear there.
And I'm not listening to Daniel anymore on setups either.
Setups?
Yeah, because what was it?
It's a fixed setup.
Okay, but hold on. Let me finish. What was it? Last week we ran at Bristol, wasn't it? On, yeah, I think it was Bristol last Thursday. And Daniel's going out there laying some pretty good laps. I'm like, dude, did you do anything different to the car and steering or anything? He's like, yeah, I got my steering at plus whatever and my ratios at this. I was like, all right, I'll try it. I didn't get any practice time. I just put it on the car and go out there and qualify.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, it wasn't good for me. I didn't like it. I mean, I'm coming into the turns and I'm doing one of these numbers to get the car to turn. I'm like, yeah, I don't like this.
No, I couldn't do that myself. So,
But Daniel made it work for him. So
yeah, he got third that day.
yeah.
So, unfortunately, no picks of the week this week, as we don't have any of the major series racing here. There might be some dirt. But
you hear that? That's my favorite song right there. You're as smooth. Yeah, if I don't know if you guys can hear it, but we can hear it in our headphones. We got a country station going on in our headphones. We don't know where we're getting it from. We don't have a radio on down here or anything. It just
there's a little kinetic energy system
right
here. So thank you guys so much for tuning in here today. As always, check out
www.bwsports1.com for all the happenings with
us here at Checkers and Wreckers, over at CWTV, the boys over at Black and White Sports, and Super Kicking It with Steven.
Yeah.
Over there, the new wrestling show.
And don't forget Dynasty Bros.
Dynasty Bros over there. They're doing a show for us now during the football season, so check them out.
Yeah, if you're into fantasy, man, get with them guys. They know all the ins and outs on fantasy football.
We got loads of stuff coming all week long at you. Look out! We're coming at you. You never know what's going to happen over here. And
don't forget Saturday, if you're local or if you're within driving distance, and you want to go out and see some racing, go watch Tommy Boy, the Ass, Elliot Cox, who Tommy Boy did the interview with earlier. He will be down there. Asher will be down there racing, driving for dyslexia.
Yep.
Speaking of Asher, happy birthday, Brandon Ferris.
It is Brandon's birthday. Yes, happy birthday.
And then they'll all be down at Whiteland racing. I'm going to Brownstown to see the Lucas Oil late models, which I'm pretty excited about. I've never seen a late model race.
Should be pretty wicked.
It'll
Probably
be
not
my
as
first.
intense as midgets.
No, I've seen midgets and sprints, and those are...
But what's pretty interesting with those late models is one will be clean.
No.
When you pull them, they're mangled.
Well,
I hate to be their bodywork guy, or I'd love it.
The guy up front, his will probably be pretty clean if he stays up front the whole race.
He'll probably be knocking that wall, though.
Yeah. Taking the Cardwell line.
Right.
What else we got going on? I think that's it.
I think so.
Oh, real fast, too, another shout-out, man. I forgot to discuss it last Sunday. Our buddy Hogue, he goes out last Saturday to Ingalls, wins the race. It was his dad's birthday, and it was I believe it was the first time Lindy got to make it to the track.
Right, yep.
Hogue's wife's been battling some cancer, been going through some treatments and everything like that, but she seems to be doing good and making a recovery. So stay fighting, Lindy.
Yeah, nice to see her out at the track and able to get out there with the family and stuff like that. So you may know her as the voice at the IMS. She does some reporting out out there and
Fox 59 Morning News, which she hasn't been on in a while.
Right. Well, obviously,
which is understandable.
Right.
But she has, because I do watch Fox 59 News in the morning before I go to work, and she has been on there like via some Zoom or whatever they've been using. So she's got on there and checked in. So it's good to see her doing well. So
we are Lindy Strong over here, and you guys check out if you're into seeing what she's got. She posts the updates, I believe, on her Instagram. She's big on that,
and she'll do it on Facebook every now and again too.
Right, absolutely. So check out as she's battling that, but she stays positive. It's awesome to see. She does. And Hogue is staying positive there as well. So check out WCM there as well.
Yeah, if you're looking for a quarter scale RC card, WCM will get you all hooked up.
I need it. They got that new class out there.
The truck class?
Yeah, I'd like to see
we
that.
haven't been out there this year to see that because I thought the trucks were pretty cool.
It's the time. This is perfect weather.
It really is. It really is.
So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in here today. A big shout out to First Financial Bank, Driving for Dyslexia, ButtKicker, Auralex.
Was it a Bruzy?
A Bruzy Racewear. And
I gotta get with him because I'm gonna have him make me some gloves and shoes.
Oh yeah, Shawn.nugent, the Rockstar Realtor. If you guys are looking for a house, it's a great pairing there. You get your mortgage from John over at First Financial. You get your house from the Rockstar Realtor.
And I actually am looking at a house.
Well, there you go. Boom, bingo, bango, bongo. Look at that. Check it. It's perfect right there.
Yeah.
It works out great.
Don't forget about Circle City Cryogenics.
Circle City. I post that.
I seen that with all the was that transmission parts it looked like.
What did they spray paint?
Or it was rear end gears, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I realized that was Circle City Cryogenics. He just pulled it out of the freezer there. It looked like it was a nice little prime job.
It did. It really did.
So he had to temper it back there. So check those guys out. And if you missed the show with them last week, check out that over on SoundCloud, Apple iTunes. You guys know
YouTube.
where you can find all the podcast.
Matter of fact, if you're not doing anything today, do us a favor. Go over on YouTube to the BW Sports 1 channel and hit that subscribe button for us.
Please and thank you. And that is all we got today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, www.bwsports1.com for all of your news here with us and everybody else on the network.